every man is free to rise as far as he's willing or able, but the degree to which he thinks will determine the degree to which he'll rise.
All that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything. What we think, we become.
It isn't what you have, or who you are, or where you are, or what you are doing that makes you happy or unhappy. It's what you think about.
As a man thinketh, so is he.
Human beings don't have 4 rows of razor-sharp teeth. We can't bite through steel. We can't secrete poison from the glands on the end of our fingers. Can't see in the dark. We can't run 75 miles an hour, and we can't change the color of our skin to match our environment. We don't have claws. We don't have tusks. We don't have wings. We're human beings. And that means our basic tool of survival is our mind. It's our intellectual capabilities that define us as a species. It's our ability to think that keeps us alive. Everything we have in our civilization, medicine, shelter, sanitation, farming, computers, the chair you're sitting on, the clothes I'm wearing, everything that makes our lives better, safer, or easier was brought into existence by a process of thinking. For human beings, it's about what we have between our ears. This is the reason we're here. But there's a very interesting complication. Thinking is a choice. It doesn't happen automatically. We can choose to think or not to think. We can choose to face an issue or not face it. We can choose to focus on solving a problem or not bother. I mean, we are not obligated to monitor the beating of our heart. That happens automatically. We don't have to focus on our body temperature or the function of our internal organs. But when it comes to thinking, nature has given us an extraordinary responsibility. In just about any situation, we can make our consciousness brighter or dimmer. We have the choice to think or not to think. And choosing to think is only half the battle. The other half is choosing what to think about. What we choose to focus on is incredibly important because thoughts become things. Everything we're surrounded by started out as a thought. Every great work of art, every building, every invention, everything in our entire civilization was brought into existence through a process of thinking. And in exactly the same way, everything in your life began with a thought and was brought into your reality by a process of thinking. Your education. Which school should I go to? Do I even want to go to school? Your relationships. Is this person really the right person for me for the rest of my life? Your career, your level of health and fitness, the house you live in, the goals you choose to pursue. Everything in your life began as a thought. Thoughts become things. What you think about expands and it manifests in your reality. And we all manifest something. We're all creators of our own reality. The question is, are we creating our worlds consciously or are we doing it by default? See, most people live their lives with their thoughts on autopilot, thinking just barely enough to get by. I mean, they still create their world through their thoughts, but if you live in a mental fog, floating like a piece of driftwood wherever the tide of life happens to take you, you're creating your world by accident. One of the most powerful concepts you could ever understand is this. you can take control of your thinking. You can begin thinking deliberately, guiding your thoughts and actions toward a clearly defined vision for your life. And if you do that, the things that you think about habitually are going to start to show up in your life, guaranteed. Now, the first step in this process is to lay the foundation by clarifying and articulating exactly what it is that you want your life to be like. Think through that vision for your ideal life. Picture yourself and your life exactly the way you'd like it to be. And that's what you're doing right now. Lifebook is a thinking process. This process allows us to focus our minds and think through our lives in a disciplined, deliberate way, which, as you'll see, is possibly the single most important activity we could ever engage in. It's what separates the Lifebook community from the people around us who are sleepwalking through their days, and it empowers us to create the extraordinary lives that we're in the process of designing for ourselves. So the next step on our Lifebook journey is our intellectual life, thinking. It goes to the very root of our survival on this planet and what it really means to be a human being. So as we start to think about the premise for our intellectual life, let's remember, these beliefs that we'll define are going to influence our thoughts and actions from this point forward. So you really want to make sure they're empowering. This is really important stuff. I want to start by sharing my foundational beliefs in this category with you. I've got 4 beliefs in my Lifebook that make up the premise for my intellectual life. Here's the first one. My mind is my greatest asset. All my goals, all my dreams and aspirations rest on my ability to think in a high-quality way. So I really want to value my mind. I need to exercise it, I need to nurture it, I need to guard it, and I need to take care of it. Here's the second belief that makes up my intellectual premise. The greatest measure of true intelligence is how intelligently you live your life. To me, true intelligence isn't about an IQ test. It's not about an SAT score, grades in school, or anything like that. That's the way our culture tends to view intelligence, and I personally think it's way too narrow. I mean, what good is high intelligence if you're incapable of using it to make your own life better? Doesn't matter how smart you are, if your life is a wreck, how smart are you really? Living a successful, balanced, intelligent life in our modern culture is a highly complex task that requires deep thinking and continuous right action. When you see a person living that way, you can know that you're looking at a great accomplishment. You're looking at a really smart person there. True intelligence means living intelligently. Here's the third belief in my intellectual premise. I can choose to think, and I can choose what to think about. Again, choice, self-empowerment, self-responsibility. It's a massively recurring Lifebook theme that you're going to encounter in every single Lifebook category. As human beings, we can choose to think or not. And I choose to think. And I also choose what I want to think about. And I can't control all the events in my outer world, but I certainly can control my inner world. I can be purposeful with my thinking. I can manage my thoughts, thinking deliberately and guiding my thoughts and actions toward a clear image of my ideal future. Which brings me to my next belief. What I think about is what I'll bring about, because thoughts become things. What I think about over and over absolutely programs itself into my nervous system and into my subconscious, and it is what I will create and what I will experience in my life. It's what I'll become. It's almost like casting a magic spell on myself. And by the way, that spell can be good or it can be bad. And most people understand at some level that you can make yourself sick with your thoughts, or you can make yourself well with your thoughts. It just depends on what you think about and how you think about it. Your Lifebook will be the best tool you could ever have for focusing your thinking and manifesting what you want in your life. You're in the process of thinking through every important area of your life right now, defining it, illustrating it, and then you're going to be living with it. You're going to be flooding yourself with it on a daily basis. Over time, you're going to be able to use this tool to make your life vision so clear, so powerful, that it will eventually become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and the vision and the reality will become one. And now, let's turn to the wisdom of the Lifebook community. Here are some powerful intellectual premise statements from Lifebook members worldwide. I nurture my mind like a beautiful garden, weeding and removing what doesn't serve me to keep it flourishing. My consciousness is a miraculous gift. I can figure out anything using my creative and resourceful mind. Like a supercomputer, my mind is so powerful, it can overwhelm past negative patterns and imprint new, positive, forward-thinking ideas. I am free to perceive myself in any way I choose, and what I'm aware of, I have the power to change. My intelligence is deeply rooted in my emotions and my spirituality. Staying plugged into the earth and in tune with creation is where my wisdom springs from. I am curious by nature. Thinking comes natural to me. I love living consciously. My mind is a powerful force that creates exactly what I want, as long as I don't get in the way. I am the authority in terms of what I think and how I think. My mind can improve any aspect of my existence. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. So what do you believe about your intellectual life? What does true intelligence mean to you? Do you believe that your mind is an incredible, irreplaceable asset? Do you believe that your thoughts create your world? Do you believe that you can control your thoughts? If some of these beliefs work for you, then feel free to adopt them as yours. And if not, throw them out and replace them with empowering beliefs that really make sense to you. Take a few moments right now, center yourself within your own truth, and define your premise, your foundational beliefs for your intellectual life. Some people have the self-image that they're not very smart, or while they may be adequately smart, they could never be highly intelligent. So when we talk about high intelligence, I just want to make sure that you're not thinking, he's not talking about me, because I'm definitely talking about you. Science has identified at least 10 different kinds of intelligence, and most schools only focus on and measure 3 or 4 at most. Most people have real gifts in one or more of these 10+ areas, but the challenge is that school only focuses on a few of them, so many people never really discover their true intelligence in school. Now remember, I believe that the best single indicator of true intelligence is how intelligently you live your life, so I know that the Lifebook process will literally make you more intelligent, a lot more intelligent, because it will help you live more intelligently, which as far as I'm concerned is the very definition of the word. The Lifebook process is intelligence in action. Right now, you are doing deep thinking about the best thing you could ever think about, your own life. It's more important than any math problem, any science experiment, any test you've ever taken. And in my book, that makes you smarter than 99% of the people I know outside of the Lifebook community. I mean, how many people do you know outside of this community that have taken the time to think deeply about who they really are, what they believe, what they want in their life, and why they want it. 0 maybe? Outside the Lifebook program? You are smart as hell for just being here right now. And you're going to get smarter with each passing day as you use your Lifebook to manifest the life you really want to live. So let's go into the vision section of the intellectual life category with a clear understanding that you are a very intelligent person on your way to becoming even more intelligent. Deal? Okay, I'd like to share my vision for my own intellectual life with you right now. It basically comes down to 4 things. Here's the first. I am a highly intelligent person. I trust my mind, I make good decisions, I'm competent to cope with the basic challenges of life. I've got confidence in this area of my life, and I've worked hard to develop my intellectual powers. I live smart, and that makes me smart. Second, I will constantly improve my intellectual capabilities from here. I'll highly value and consciously develop my ability to think and my ability to reason. I want to increase the content and the ability of my mind, so I've got to dedicate myself to a life of never-ending intellectual improvement and education. I really see myself developing immense intellectual momentum over the next decade or so. I'm absolutely committed to learning things that will make my life better in every way. I want to fill my mind with positive, empowering thoughts on an ongoing basis. And I also want to guard against negative, limiting thoughts. I don't put garbage into my body. I will not put garbage into my mind. Third,